Welcome to the Creative Hunter Podcast. This is episode 4, and today I'm sitting down with Riley Seeholzer. Riley and I have been good friends for a few years. We've been good hunting buddies. Riley just got back last year from hiking the Pacific Crest Trail, so he's going to talk about that a little bit and kind of give you some info on that. If you haven't heard of it, it's freaking awesome. I would love to do it someday, but it's kind of crazy. It's a trail from Mexico to Canada. It's like over 2,000 miles. And Riley did it. So we're going to talk to him about that. I'm going to talk to him about some hunting. We have a supporter of the podcast, Alpen Fuel. If you haven't heard of them, you got to go check them out. They make breakfast granola meals. They also make trail cookies that are like indestructible, but they're some of the best cookies ever. And if you go over to their site and use the code CHP20, you can get 20% off on their whole website. So capital C, capital H, capital P, 20. Get 20% off everything there. Go check them out, and we're going to get into this podcast right now. So today with me, I have Riley Seeholzer. Riley, how's it going?
Good. I'm gonna use that discount code. Get some Alpen fuel.
Dude, it's so good.
That's breakfast tomorrow.
I know. So yeah. There you go.
Excited.
He's got it. He knows what's up.
We need to hurry up and go to bed so I can wake up and eat it.
Yeah. So some background. Me and Riley are backpacking right now, just on like a one-nighter. We're not even in the mountains. We're out in the flat desert just for fun in some lava fields, and we're just sitting here at camp. We hiked in about 3.5 miles today, almost 4 miles.
Close to 4.
And then we'll kind of just do some exploring in the morning and hike out, just kind of for fun. We just wanted to get out and do a trip with the springtime. So we're just hanging out, but I'll kind of introduce Riley real quick. He's a good hunting buddy of mine. We did a spring bear hunt 2 years ago now?
Yep.
And the first bear hunt I ever went on was with Riley, and I went and filmed it for him and some of our other buddies, and just fell in love with it. And now I go every year. And so Riley's he's a huge hunter, and last year he actually hiked the PCT. So Riley, how about you explain? Anyone who doesn't know what the PCT is, just tell them kind of what the PCT is.
It's called the Pacific Crest Trail, and it's a long distance backpacking trail, and it starts at the Mexican border and it ends at the Canadian border in Washington. So it goes through California, Oregon, and Washington, and it's 2,656 miles long. And I started on April 6, 2023 at the border, Mexico-American border in California, and then I hiked all the way up to Canada and finished on September 16th. And there was about 200 miles that I haven't done in the Sierra Nevadas, but I got to go back and do. But I did over 2,400 miles last year on that trail, and that's
crazy.
Dude, it was the coolest thing ever.
That's so cool. Dang.
Yeah.
So
it was like the single most influential time of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the biggest thing that you learned from that, really?
Just to be grateful for what I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's like I lived off my back for 6 months. It took me 165 days, and everything I had, everything that I owned, everything I needed was just in my backpack. And I realized you don't need a lot to be happy, because that was the happiest time of my life, easily. Not to say I'm not happy now or wasn't happy before, but that was like the climax of happiness.
That's cool.
And I didn't have everything I owned weighed 15 pounds, and I was so happy. And I just learned that I like living simply, and I mean, you don't need much to be happy. And just getting out, being outdoors, being around people that you like to be around, like building friendships and relationships with people, seeing the kindness of people, and just being outside, that's what happiness is to me. And that's what I learned the most. I learned a lot about hiking, sure. I learned a lot about logistics when you're in the backcountry, sure.
Yeah.
But, just being grateful, because now I come home and I went back to the same job I was at, and I'm way more grateful for it than I used to be. Even though I don't really love work, but I'm grateful for it. I realize I'm blessed to have this, and it gave me a different perspective on things.
That's cool. I feel like that'd be a huge change trying to adapt to that lifestyle and then coming off of that lifestyle?
It was harder to come back.
Was it really?
Yeah, easily.
That's crazy.
Like getting out there was.
You're excited.
It was like full of excitement, and I had like, you have the excitement of like when you're a little kid, you know how you're excited for everything, like a vacation or going to a restaurant you like or something, or like first day of school you're excited, or you know, whatever it is for Christmas. You know how you were Christmas morning when you're a little kid.
Oh yeah.
I had that level of excitement as an adult, and that's it's hard to create that excitement as an adult, just because like it's different when you're an adult. You have responsibilities and you have all these other things to worry about, and it seems like the excitement kind of just goes away.
Yeah.
Because you've already experienced a lot too.
Right.
I think one of the reasons when you're a kid and you get excited really easily is because you haven't really experienced that much in life. And so it was literally that level of excitement, like Christmas morning when I got to the southern terminus, and it was just, I felt like a kid. And that excitement level really stayed throughout the whole trail, but it was super, super powerful at the beginning, like first week or so. And yeah. I feel like having like that excitement is something that is like, I get it before I go on hunts. Especially like hunts I've never been on, or hunts that I'm excited about. Like I've gotten that for hunts. Yeah, absolutely. But it was a whole different tier for some reason, because I knew I was in it for the long haul. This was it wasn't a week long or a week and a half long adventure.
Like
this was
6 months.
I'm gonna hike across the entire country.
That's crazy.
And it was powerful. It was a really I'm not that emotional, but like I cried a lot on the PCT. Yeah. Like I felt a lot of powerful emotions that I didn't know I was capable of feeling. Yeah. And I love that. Like that's good for you. It's good for the soul to feel that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It made me younger, like more energetic, like more enthusiastic about things.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So coming off of that PCT, and then getting back, do you feel like there's, like, what have you learned from that you're now translating into life right now? Other than you've talked about like being more grateful for things, but like
there's as far as like the hunting world is concerned, I feel like nothing's off limits. Yeah. I know I pushed myself to my limit and expanded my limits all the time on the PCT. Yeah. And so it's like, if something's 10 miles away, it used to be like, well, that's 10 miles away. Now I hike 10 miles before 10 o'clock, like 80 times.
That's crazy.
And so, and then if something's 30 miles away, I've hiked 30 miles in a day more than 20 times. Yeah. Granted, I had a lightweight backpack and I wasn't carrying all my hunting stuff, but I know I can do it. And so it's like my limits, like I need to put a barometer on my own limits now, because I could get myself into trouble, because I know I can go that far, but should I? Right. When I'm hunting, right? If I'm backpacking, great, let's do it, you know? Yeah. But I think that's a good thing to know your limits, and also, like, you have to be careful, because, well, at least for me, I feel like I need to be careful now in that, because I feel confident going anywhere, which maybe I shouldn't, right? Right.
Consequences are higher.
So that's one thing I learned. As far as like real life, what's real life, right? As far as like my home life and work life, it's like if I have a hard day, it's like I know what hard is. Yeah. Hard is running out of food, and you've got 30 miles to the next town, and you already are on a calorie deficit for the last 4 months. Like that's hard. Yeah. Hard is dropping 2,000 feet of elevation just to hit the river, just to gain it all back, and you don't have any food during that same stretch. Like that's what hard is. You know, hard is having a foot injury you're just trying to fight through, because the last thing in the world you want to do is get off trail, and like that's hard. As far as like physical hardness is, you know, there's harder things in life than that, yes, but like I experienced those things, and now it's like, if I have a crappy day at work, it's like I can look back at things I've done that are way worse and way harder than that, and then it's like, I can deal with these challenges. It's not a problem, you know? Like, obviously, you know, you learn problem solving throughout your life, and you apply it to the next problem you have. Yeah. It's like, so I guess that's, I mean, you learn that in a lot of different ways.
For sure.
But I learned that a lot on the trail, and I've tried to be conscious of that and apply it to things after the trail.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
I mean, I'm sure there's countless other things I just can't think of.
Right, you just don't, they just happen naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool, dude. So, I have one more question about the PCT, and then we'll kind of talk about some hunting stuff. Well, how did you find out about it, and like, what made you just decide I'm gonna go do it? That's a big commitment.
Yeah, it was like in 2019, maybe it's 2018. My family took a trip to Yosemite National Park, and we did a backpacking trip from Glacier Point to Half Dome.
Nice.
And it's like, I think it's about a 25-mile round trip hike.
Yeah.
Approximately. And on that trail you cross and you actually hike on the John Muir Trail for a little bit, like a couple miles. And I saw a sign that said Mount Whitney, like 215 miles, or I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was something 200 something miles.
Yeah.
And I thought, there's a trail that long? 200 miles, that's nuts. Like, people do this? And so it was cool because we were on a 25-mile trip, and that was the biggest trip of my life at that time, easily. And I love it. Like, I fell in love with backpacking on that trip, and I didn't really know what I was doing, really. I mean, we knew enough to get there and be safe and have fun, but like, it was just a learning opportunity for my whole family.
Yeah.
And so, and we had done some backpacking before, but like in the Boy Scouts and,
right,
you know, a few little tiny family trips of like 5 miles or less, but it wasn't really like a mainstay of my life at that time like it is now. And so anyways, I got home from that trip just changed a little bit. Like, it's hard to not be changed when you experience that type of wilderness, even if it's a national park and there's a lot of people around. Like, it's a special place, and it's a national park for a reason. And then hiking through it, going to some magnificent place, like, it changes you a little bit every time you go to do something like that.
Yeah.
And so I came back and I was like, this John Muir Trail sounds cool. What is this? So I researched it, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe one day I'll do that. And it just kind of escaped me. I didn't really think about it much, but like, the biggest takeaway from that trip is I just wanted to go backpacking. I love backpacking. And so, and I was confident. I just did a 25-mile trip. Yeah. And then I realized, oh, there's places in my home mountain range that are less than 25 miles I can hike to now. Yeah. Whereas before I would have been intimidated by that. So I started the backpack, and then just over, you know, a couple years start backpacking more. And then it was during COVID, like 2020, 2021 time frame. I was really just backpacking a ton because that's all you really could do. And I really, really fell in love with it and just totally became a backpacking nerd. And then in that, I guess it would have been the winter of 2020, the spring of 2021, it was like really hard for me for whatever reason. Like, it was just a crappy winter. I was working a lot of hours, and just COVID was going on still, and I didn't like it. And so I would just come home from work and just be down in the dumps and depressed, and I would just watch YouTube videos, watch whatever, just trying to pass the time, because I just wanted it to be warm again, so I'd go backpacking. You know how it is.
Oh yeah.
But this was really bad that particular time. Well, I came across this video of some girl who made a little documentary of the PCT, and she had hiked it in 2019, and I just remembered all of a sudden, like, oh, the John Muir Trail. I remember researching the John Muir Trail, and it shared, like, the PCT and the John Muir Trail share, but like the PCT, and I didn't really know how long it was, but I knew that it was something. I had heard of it before. So then I watched this documentary of this girl hiking across the country and meeting these incredible people while she hiked, and just having this amazing life-changing experience. And all of a sudden I just had that desire to do it. I was like, I got to do that because I'm backpacking now. I've done some 20-mile trips. I've done some like 4-day trips by myself. I've done some backpack hunts. Like, I can do the PCT. And it's like, start researching the Pacific Crest Trail. It's like, oh, this thing's like 6 months long. Like, it costs $10,000 to do. You have to quit your job. You don't have to, but most people do. It's like a huge commitment. Like, how can I do this? So then from that point forward, it was like, I want to do the PCT. I'm going to do it. And I start telling people I'm doing it because I wanted it to be out there in the universe for people to, like, not necessarily hold me accountable, but like, if I tell somebody I'm going to do something, it's more like, you're going to do it because, like, I told Logan I'm going to do this. I better do it. I don't want to let him down, even though it's not really like that. It kind of is like it's a way to trick your sights. You know?
I do that all the time.
So I was telling my family, I was telling some of my friends, it's like, hey, I heard about this trail. It's 2,600 miles long. I'm going to do it. Everybody's like, oh, cool, you know, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But then, like, they see me up on the mountain every single weekend. They're like, maybe he would do that. Like, and so, anyways, time passes, and it just never, that desire literally, I thought about it every single day. I was researching the PCT, like, that's all I wanted to do. And so it was like saving money, getting as much backpacking experience as I can. And that's not really even that important looking back. But I love backpacking before the PCT, so I just wanted to do it a lot, so I did. And then, like, really, in some sort of way, every single backpacking trip or hunting trip I did before the PCT prepared me for the PCT in some little way.
Right.
And so, it was like 2022, early in the year, I decided I'm doing it in 2023. There's nothing that's going to stop me. And so I just worked. I told some people at work, I'm like, hey, like, I'm doing the PCT. Don't know when exactly, but, like, I want to work overtime. I want to, whatever it takes. So I started working a lot. And I was still hunting, still planning hunts, still going backpacking, still staying in as good a shape as I could.
Yeah.
But, like, my priority was, like, I got to make money. And then I got a PCT permit in November 2022 and was like, this is real. Like, I'm doing this. And I think it was January of 2023, I went and told my boss that I'm going to quit in April and go hike the PCT. And he just was like, oh, well, what's the PCT? So I had the map, big fold-out map. It was like 2 feet long.
Yeah.
I rolled it out on his desk, and he just looked at it. He was asking me some questions. We talked about it for like 20 minutes. He didn't even bring up like, oh, you have to quit. Like, I told him I was quitting to hike this.
Yeah.
He supported me.
That's cool.
Which was really, really cool.
That's way cool.
And then the rest is history. I quit my job, and I saved up enough money, so I didn't want, like, there was like 2 reasons that I would let myself get off the PCT and feel good about it. And the one reason was if somebody in my family died or got really sick, I would leave, that would be more important than the PCT. And then the second reason was if I got injured and couldn't hike. But I was not gonna have not enough money. Like, I was gonna have enough money to do it. Yeah. I wasn't gonna get off for financial reasons. I wasn't gonna get off because it was hard. I was just gonna push through because it was hard a lot of times. There was a lot of hard days. But I just kept plugging away, you know. And I had enough money, and I probably could have done it a couple years before, but I wouldn't have had enough money. So I made sure everything was settled away at home, so I didn't have to worry about any finances. Yeah. Which was really, like, if I had to give any advice to anybody, if you're gonna hike the PCT or the Continental Divide Trail or the AT or do something, whether that's a 6-month road trip, just be financially secure. And it doesn't take that much money, but it takes some. Yeah. Like, I didn't have much expenses at home to pay for anyways. But I made sure the things that I had to pay for were taken care of for that period of time, so I didn't have to worry. And that was so cool. You just leave society behind. You don't have to go to work. You don't have to worry about money because you had enough. Right. It's like I was telling you today, like, rich people are rich. It's not because they have a lot of money. It's because they have enough money they don't need money anymore. Yep. So if you get yourself to a point in life where you don't need that much money, then you're rich, essentially, right? Yeah. And so on the PCT, I felt as rich as I ever was because I didn't need much money. I was spending like $1,500 a month. That's crazy. That's all I needed. Yeah. And I probably could have gone cheaper, but yeah, it's like, that's cool. So that's how that came to be. And then I went and hiked it, and then it was amazing. I met awesome people that I'll be friends with forever. Yeah. And I experienced some really, really cool stuff, and I want to go back. Yeah. Yeah. What's next? What's the next big thing? Oh, I'm gonna get married. Okay. Yeah. Nice. That's good. And let's talk about how you met your future wife. So Danielle is from the Netherlands, which is a European country next to Germany and Belgium. And she was hiking the PCT. She started on the same day as me. And so we just, you kind of just be friends with everybody around, and like, you do a vibe check, and vibes checked out. And there was a lot of people that started on the same day as me, like 5, 6, 7 people that I hiked with the majority of the trail that started on April 6th. Yeah. And just over time, me and Danielle, after a few months of hiking, we were always friends from day one, just as friends, regular old friends. Yeah. But then, like, after a little while, it's like, oh, like, I kind of like you more than a friend. And so it just kind of it really genuinely was meant to be, like, in some weird way. And, like, it's like whether you believe in God or believe in some higher power or the universe, whatever that is, kind of brought us together. And it's hard to deny that.
Yeah.
And it was a special time. And she lives 5,000 miles away, so that's hard. But
Yeah.
we talk every single day on FaceTime. We haven't missed a single day since the trail.
Nice.
Other than, I even called her like 10 minutes ago because we had service.
We just talked to her.
There was like a couple days where I was up in the mountain and like hunting and stuff that I had no service. But other than that, it was like every day. And I've been to visit her in the Netherlands once since then. She's been here twice. So
that's cool.
She wants to move here. We need to get her a visa.
Yeah,
and we'd get married anyways, regardless of if we needed a visa or not. So we're gonna make this thing happen. So that's the next big adventure.
Sweet.
And the most important thing, I'm so excited.
Good.
But beyond that, we both want to hike the Continental Divide Trail together.
Cool.
I think the earliest we can do that is 2026.
Yeah.
Maybe even later than that, but hopefully 2026 we'll be on the CDT, which goes from New Mexico to Montana.
Yeah.
And it follows the Continental Divide, and that's a big, nasty, gnarly trail. So
yeah, that one's cool.
Yeah.
I've hiked parts of it.
Yeah.
And it looks sick.
There's some awesome country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool.
A lot of grizzly bears.
Yeah, up north.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, that's crazy. It goes right along the Montana-Idaho border for a little bit right there. I think through Yellowstone.
Goes through Yellowstone, goes through the Wind Rivers.
Yeah.
It goes through Colorado and all their big mountains.
That's cool.
I'm excited for that. But right now the priority is just her and our relationship.
Yeah.
And then after that, we'll go do something else together. So.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's way cool. Cool. Well, do you have any hunts planned this year?
Not necessarily. I'm gonna try to do a little bit of guiding, elk hunt guiding.
Okay, yeah. And you guided last season too, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then we'll see what I draw. And results haven't came out yet, but I got points in Wyoming, and I doubt I'll draw anything in Wyoming, but I might.
Yeah,
and then
you never know.
Utah, I just put in for a rifle deer for Utah, which I should draw. I'd be surprised if I don't draw.
Yeah.
And then that's really all. It's not going to be a whole lot this year.
Yeah, you'll be busy because you'll be getting married in September.
Yeah,
so.
Getting married right in the middle of hunting season.
Right in the middle of hunting season. That's bold.
That's you know
good.
what?
It's the timing. It just is what
our
it is.
honeymoon is going to be a 6-day backpacking trip.
Yeah, and that's cool.
There's not a better time to go backpacking than September. So
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome. Tell me about some of your guiding experience. Just kind of how you got into that and how that was.
Just kind of fell into it through another friend of ours.
Yeah,
he just
Josh,
got it.
right?
Yeah, Josh got into guiding, and then he developed a relationship with a landowner, and then they needed more guys to guide, and so I was one of those guys, and I have a lot of fun doing it.
Nice.
I don't think I'm the best guide ever, but
that's all right.
I have fun.
Yeah.
The guys, everybody that I've taken out likes me except for one guy, and that was his fault, not mine. So I think I have fun, and the landowner is a good guy to guide under.
Yeah.
And man, putting elk on the ground, there's nothing quite like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I've guided on the same ranch too, but it was a couple years ago, and there's elk everywhere. It's cool.
It's fun, man.
It's so cool.
It's like you just learn a lot. When you're around that many animals.
Yeah,
you're learning about their behavior. You're getting like a lifetime of hunting experience in one season. Honestly, it seems like.
It's true. Well, because you're hunting like every day dang near.
Yeah, and I hunted full time or guided full time because I got back from the PCT and just went straight to guiding. I didn't start my electrical job, so I was just like, let's just do it. I told the guys every single day you need me, I will be there, and I was. And it was great. Just living in a cabin in the woods for a month and a half was so cool. So it was a good way to ease into regular old society off the trail. So,
nice.
But cool. You just learn a lot about animals. You learn a lot about just the world. You learn a lot about breaking down animals, packing them out, meat, everything that you could learn about hunting. It's just like a crash course, university, it's fun.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Some of the most of the best hunters that I know like have guided or do guide.
Yeah.
Like,
You learn
not all
about
of
people
them, but-
too. You learn about how to help people who, and a lot of those guys have a decent amount of hunting experience, but some of them don't.
Yeah,
So you have to
true.
learn about how to manage how you react with humans, because
Yeah.
like guiding it's a human resources job
Yeah.
more than a hunting guiding job, because you
Right.
got to make sure your client's happy.
Yeah.
And just because there's elk running around doesn't mean he's going to be happy. You
Yeah.
know? I learned that. And it's like, it's cool. Like it's a skill set that's beyond just hunting,
Yeah.
which is, it's exciting. It's fun to do that.
That's fun.
So
Yeah. I like it. I wish I could do it more
yeah,
time.
I'm
but-
not going to be able to do it much this year either, but maybe 1 week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool.
1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
See what, it's hard having like a regular job and then you want to go guide hunts and then you also
Yeah,
want to hunt for
right.
yourself. It's like, man, how do I balance this?
Yeah. That's
So,
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the bear hunt that we go on that me and you have been on 2 years ago,
Yep.
and then I've been the last 2 years. Last year you were on your PCT, and then this year you have some other trips planned. But how did you talk about that bear hunt, because it's an awesome bear hunt. I know that you spent a lot of time like you're pretty much the one who kind of found that spot and
Yep.
e-scouted it and everything. Just tell me about your process, even just pretty broadly about finding new places and e-scouting and all that process. How do you go about that?
I spent a lot of time on Google Earth, just flying around looking at things.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I kind of learned through researching bears that if you're hunting bears in the spring, they just want to eat green grass. And so I just wanted to find places that could potentially have some green grass in it. And
Yeah.
I knew that the snow was melting, so you kind of want to follow that snow up the mountain, right? So I found some resources online, and I'm not really super knowledgeable about all that stuff, but I used, what's that guy, Mark Livesey.
Yep.
This was before he got popular that I found him, because he's
Okay.
blown up now. But
Oh, yeah.
his stuff there is not a better resource for e-scouting than him on planet Earth.
Really?
He's the best.
That's cool.
And so, and I found him before he was popular, which
Yeah.
is cool.
I need to check him out.
And
I know, I've met him, but
Tree
I've
Line
never-
Pursuits, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah.
Yeah. So he's e-scouting Jesus, man.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing, and he's super tech savvy as far as Google Earth and
Yeah.
the satellite imagery and all the snow data. So I dove into that, and not really even that deep, just kind of minor, scratch the surface.
Yeah.
So I was able to find a few spots, and then just looking at terrain aspect, snow levels that were current, projected snow melt, temperatures, historical data and all that, and I found a spot that looked good. But I found 5 different spots. They all looked about the same, so I just had
Yeah.
to pick one.
Right.
So I just put every single spot in a hat and just, okay, we're going here,
Yeah.
basically. And so and I didn't know what the heck I was getting into, really. I mean, I knew it was going to be a big nasty adventure,
Yeah.
and I didn't know if there was going to be bears in there or not. It was my first bear hunt ever. I just went in there, me and my buddy Brody.
Yeah. Brody. Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was cool, because we show up and we spot a bear first day. It's like, okay,
Nice.
my Google Earth flying around must have been worth something, I
It's
guess.
working.
But I don't know, I had a lot of experience, not really a lot, but I had enough experience before then, e-scouting just for deer and stuff, that it wasn't too hard.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know, looking back, I don't know, I probably could have found that spot with a lot less work.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I put that work in, because I learned a lot. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You
know.
have to go through that learning process, anyways.
yeah. But no, it was I don't know. It was I'm trying to remember exactly the process I went through. It was mainly just being bored because it was winter time, and
Yeah.
just looking all over the place.
Yeah.
And then looking up, oh, that drainage looks cool, and then look at the current snow levels, and oh wow, half of that drainage is already melted. There's probably going to be some green grass as soon as the sun warms it up,
Yeah.
And so if you look at historical data, snow levels at 7,500 feet in May or whatever, you can think, oh, if I go 1,000 feet below that, that's when this green up starts.
Yep.
So I just found this whole elevation band that was going to be melted off, and I said, well, why don't we just go check it out? And it worked. We didn't kill anything, but we got a shot at one, and we seen.
Yeah.
I think we seen 8 bears that first trip. That was really fun.
Yeah.
It was a 7-day trip and backpacked in, and then the next year we went back to the same spot with 5 of us, right?
Yeah, and I was there filming that one.
And we got into them. That was fun. We seen I think we saw 33 bears.
We saw so many bears.
Yeah.
A lot of sows and cubs, but still.
The place is cool.
I know.
Just
so cool.
Big nasty country.
Yeah, and our buddy Josh killed one on that hunt.
Day 1 or 2? Day 2?
It was like day 2.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, day 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we learned that we don't need to go way up high.
Yeah.
We can just stay down by the river and
pretty much. Every year we just get more efficient.
Yeah, so that's what, dude, hunting's so cool that way, because I think, like, I remember when I was getting into hunting, I would just stress out a little bit about, I gotta kill one, I gotta get one. And then, like, the more I go, the more I realize, like, the most important thing about hunting is learning something new.
Yeah.
That should be your goal.
Yeah.
And I've learned so much from not killing stuff.
Yeah.
Granted, sure, I've learned a lot from killing things. Yeah.
Right.
But I've learned more from not killing stuff than I ever have killing something.
Yeah, for sure.
And looking back, it's like the memories of packing something out are just, they're number 1, easy. But the valuable lessons for not killing something, that's number 2.
Yeah.
But then the lessons you learn from killing something, that's down, you know. Yeah. Like, that memory's worth it all. But the lessons you learn, it's like, oh, yeah, it just worked out. I got lucky, kind of.
Yeah.
But I also put myself in a position to have that happen. And you learn that. But then when you don't kill something, it's like you learn what went wrong. You learn why it went wrong. Yeah. You learned what went right. What put yourself in, you know, because you're going to be on a hunt where you're going to have opportunities for success, but you weren't successful. So you need to look at how did you put yourself in those opportunities for success, and then what happened? Why were you not successful? Yeah. And I look at all those lessons, and like a couple of years ago, I started recording myself after I didn't get something, and I have like 5 or 6 videos walking down the mountain doing the walk of shame. I'm like, hey, so like I just missed this buck with my arrow, or I drew on this buck but I couldn't get a shot off, and maybe I should have. Yeah. And I have one, like, I missed a deer with my rifle once, and there was one deer that I shot at like 7 times, and I finally hit him on the 8th shot. And so I recorded myself after that while I was walking to the deer, and I was like, oh, I was too rushed. I was panicking. I was too excited. I should have got closer. But in the heat of the moment, when all that's going on, you don't think about that. Yeah. But then as soon as it ends, like, it's this rush of emotions and thoughts. Yeah. So I just started recording, because you're out there in the woods, you're not going to write it down. No. But you can pull out your phone and just start talking to it. That's smart. And so I've rewatched a few of those videos before hunts. Like the next year, I'm like, oh, last year, I go back to whatever day that was last year, I can find the video. I'll watch it, and then those things that I learned from last year, I'll have them on my mind while I'm hiking into a spot. Yeah. And guess what? You're probably going to make the same mistakes again, but at least you're thinking about it, right? Right, exactly. So, yeah. That's cool. So I've done that, and that's been a good trick, because then that's a good idea. It's hard to learn. Like, you learn lessons, but if you tell yourself and revisit those, they'll really sink in. Yeah. I think that's one of the advantages that, like, I have, where I film all my hunts already. Like, it's just like a given. I always just film them, just because, like, it's fun and I have those memories. But then when I, like, go to edit a hunt, like, I relive all that and just kind of get to, like, focus on what happened, and just really ponder, like, the process of the whole hunt, and, like, what I could have done different. And it gives me, I feel like it definitely, I've never thought of it this way, but it definitely gives me, like, more time to reflect on that and kind of learn. That film that you did, I'll finish. Yeah, well, like, if I wasn't filming it, like, in any at all, there's a lot I'd probably forget. Oh yeah. Yeah. Like that hunt that we all went on 2 years ago that you filmed. Yeah. There's that scene where me and Raiden went after that bear. Yeah. And I can relive that entire series of events, because I watched that, and then all of a sudden I remember, and I can look through the pictures I took too. Yeah. And the combination of those things and my memories, it's like, oh, I can put myself there, and then I can realize, oh, I should have done this instead of that, because if we went up the right drainage, we should have gone up the left-hand one. Oh yeah. We would have been right up on top. We would have shot right down at that bear. But instead, also, you have to look back at, why did you make that decision? Well, from where we were sitting, we thought that from there you'd be able to see the bear.
Yeah.
But when you get in there, you realize there's a hump that's like, it's like a 30-foot tall hump is all.
Yeah, we couldn't see
You can't see that terrain feature from 1,000 yards away, but when you get right up on top, there's this little hump, and it's like, oh, that bear's here, there's a hump, then there's us. How do you know that when you're sitting down? So it's like, next time you go hunting, you think, oh, I'll go up the left drainage and I'll be right up on top of them. Well, how do you know that's going to happen? Because how do you know there's not
for sure
a rock in the way or a tree or you know?
Yeah.
So that's what hunting drives you crazy. Because all those little things, it's like, man, what could I have done?
Yeah.
And so, but I'm thankful for that because I watched that and I just remember that. But then it's like, it's just this whole like, and also it's just the memory itself was just extremely valuable. Like beyond all the lessons, it's just like, man, that was so cool to be there with all you guys, just hunting bears.
Yeah.
We didn't give a crap about nothing else. We were just in there hunting bears for a week. That was fun. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
You got to be thankful for those times.
Absolutely. That's cool, dude.
Yeah.
Nice. What's kind of your favorite hunt that you have been on, or that you're gonna keep going on? Like, what's your go-to hunt?
That one.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Spring bear? Nice.
I like deer hunting, but there's something about them bears, man. The bears make me happy.
Heck yeah.
And
we're gonna go next year.
Yeah.
For sure. So
we're going deep.
We're gonna go deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're planning already. So
yeah. But no, I think I remember I went on my first solo rifle deer hunt in, I think it was 2018. It was after that Yosemite trip. And my grandpa gave me this paper map of all these spots he used to go to and he could get around. And he had a red X on a bunch of spots he'd killed deer. And it was just like the coolest thing ever. Cause
that's cool.
He's like, you can go here. And that's how I found almost all my deer spots, is from my grandpa's paper map.
That's cool.
And anyways, so I remember he was telling me some hunting stories. It's just grandpa telling, and who knows how accurate they are, you know. But like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's a cool hunt story from a grandpa. Like, that's cool. And so I went up into this spot just all by myself, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I knew I was hunting deer, and I've killed a deer before, you know, at that time, but I've backpacked before, and I've hunted a deer, and I've killed it before, but I've never backpack hunted before.
Yeah,
and I'm going by myself at 10,000 feet in October.
Jeez.
What could possibly go wrong?
Right.
Oh, a lot. But man, dude, I wouldn't trade those memories and lessons learned for anything.
Yeah.
Because I got a complete torrential downpour. My tent flooded. Like, I got snowed on. I got hailed on. I missed a deer. I scared a deer. I seen one of the biggest deer in my life and just got so dang nervous I didn't know what to do, and I just watched him walk over the ridge, never saw him again. Like, all those things happened, and I'm by myself, just figuring it out.
Yeah.
I didn't have anybody there to hold my hand. I had some gear that was decent, and I was confident enough to just go try.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that. Like, I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
Like, that was, 6-7 years ago?
Right.
And like, I'm proud of that kid who did that, because that kid got me to where I'm at now. Like, it wasn't for, if I didn't go on that hunt, who knows what. I could have wussed out. I could have just been like, oh, I don't want to go out there by myself, because I couldn't. Nobody wanted to go with me.
Right.
Everybody's like, you're going to go hike in 6 miles and hunt a deer. Why don't you just hunt one off the road? I'm like, because I just want to go on an adventure more than hunt. And that kind of remains now. I just want to do adventures. And hunting is a good adventure.
It's a good adventure.
And so that's probably my favorite hunt of my life. But as far as like the favorite hunt I've ever been on, I got it, or like continue to do, it's like, dude, the bear hunt with the boys. That's fun. So cool. That's so fun. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well, I think we'll kind of wrap it up. Thanks for being on here, Riley. You're gonna, are you gonna start your podcast soon?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm not much. I have a hard time with the podcasting because
Riley started to record some podcast episodes.
I've tried like 3 different times to start a podcast, and it just fizzles out.
Yeah.
So
hey, you gotta do it.
Yeah.
Just start posting them.
I know.
You should.
I should, but
it's all right. That's all right.
You know, I can't make that commitment now.
Yeah. Well, it'll be good. We're excited. You'll probably see more of Riley on some future videos and stuff, especially next year on the bear hunt. we'll probably film that, I'm sure.
Well, we got a couple adventures planned already this year.
Yeah, sure. Actually, let's talk about that real quick. Let's
Okay.
talk about, we have a death hike we're going to do.
Yeah. Ever since EXO Mountain Gear started doing death hikes, I'm like, I want to go. Because that's I like that. I like that stuff. I like pushing myself.
Right.
I like going into gnarly places nobody wants to go.
Yeah.
And I want to go with badass people. And so, and those EXO guys, they just do it with, a bunch of guys in the industry, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people want to go with them, but they just say, do your own death hike. So I've been wanting to do my own death hike. And so I just did a 6-month hike across the country as my death hike last year. But we got to do one this year.
We're going to do one this year.
So we're going to do a 100-mile hike, and we're going to do it in just one sleeping night. So it's going to be like a two 50-mile days, which will be like
it's going to be tough.
24 hours at least, probably.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's going to be like a 3-day jaunt, but it's only like one sleeping night. And it's probably not even going to be like a full night of sleep.
No, it's going to be like a few hours.
Because when I did the PCT, I did a 60-mile day. And it took me about 24 hours to hike 50 miles.
Yeah.
Approximately. Because it took me a lot more than 24 hours to do the whole 60. So.
Yeah.
And then figure if like you average 2 miles an hour, like including taking a pee and taking a break and taking a snack, taking a lunch.
Yeah.
If you average 3 miles an hour, which who knows if you can do that in there, because who knows what the trails are like.
Yeah.
But let's just say, for instance, we average 2 miles an hour. That's 25 hours to do 50.
Yep.
And then you're going to take like a 5-6 hour nap.
Yep.
And you're going to go 25 more hours.
Yep.
Whew.
It's going to be hard.
I'm here for it.
I'm down. I think it'd be sick. I like pushing myself, like Riley said.
And that trail has like, that I mapped out, if I remember right, it has like 32,000 feet of elevation gain over the 100 miles. So like, and most of it is relatively flat, and a lot of that gain is like the last 30 miles. So, of course it's the last.
It's gonna end hard, Nice. That'll be good.
But we can cruise for a while though.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And we're gonna do that. We're thinking around end of September, early October, right between the archery and the rifle hunts.
It's gonna be a big nasty death hike.
It's gonna be fun.
But we got all summer to train for it. So.
Yeah. We'll be good. We'll see.
You just gotta get used to the sleep deprivation, because that's hard, dude. And it's hard to train for that unless you just deprive yourself of sleep.
Yeah.
That's the only way. So I don't know. I'm just gonna have to figure out how to pack in Red Bulls and Monsters.
Bring all the caffeine you need. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
That'll be. I mean, we'll plan that more. Maybe we'll do a post or a pre-episode. Yeah. And then we'll do a couple snippets when we're delirious. Yeah. Because you're gonna get delirious. Yeah. You're gonna start seeing stuff too. You're gonna freak yourself out. I was hallucinating on the PCT when I did that 60-mile day. Dang. Because we were going through Lassen National Park, which is it's in Northern California, and it's kind of like a volcanic. Lassen Volcanic National Park is what it's called. So it has like geysers and a couple little like hot pots and like a boiling lake and stuff. But it burned really bad a few years ago. Oh. That Dixie fire, one of the biggest fires in California history. I think it was 2020 or 2019. Can't remember exactly. But it's like it's a wasteland in there. It's sad because everything's burned. But you're hiking through. I was at mile like 30 something on the day. And 30 miles is hard, and you're tired. Yeah. But then it's like 2 a.m., and you're just pushing. And it's not really super steep terrain. It's kind of rolly. Right. So you can fly. Like, I was holding like a 3.5 mile an hour pace. Yeah. And just booking it. And all of a sudden, like, I just, like, it's like full, like, not really a full moon. It was probably like a 3/4 moon. So you could see decent. But it was like weird shadows with the dead trees, like, standing up. And, like, I'm just getting real tired and like, and all of a sudden you just start like seeing weird stuff. And I'm like, what was that? And you just, then you get a chill. So you stop and then like, it's kind of breezy. So like those dead trees are like creaking. And like you just get in your own head. Oh man. But then you just keep going because what else are you going to do? Right. And I was hiking with a friend, but he was like 2 miles back because he had to take a poop and I wasn't going to wait for him. Oh yeah. And so I can see his headlamp clear back there. Yeah. And I'm like, hurry up, Sasquatch. I'm scared. Like, I'm a grown-ass man, and I'm scared out of my mind right now because there's nothing there, but I think there is, Yeah. And now I'm, like, dead serious. Like, I swear I saw people just walking around. But I was just tired and seeing shadows.
That's crazy.
So, like, that's going to happen. Yeah. I don't know why that happens, and I try to make it not, but, like, hiking at night by yourself,
Yeah.
Like, I'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't really care, but every single time I do it, I just make myself jumpy. So,
Dude,
get ready for that.
I know. I've heard stories from, like, ultra runners who do, like, 100, 200-mile races. Yeah. And they say that, like, they start hallucinating.
Stuff. Oh, yeah.
I've always been like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to, like, have a story like that.
Yeah. In the middle of the day, because, like, when I actually had a real hallucination, it wasn't even at night. Really? It was, like, mile 55. I only had 4 more miles to go. And I am beat, and it's, like, 2 p.m. Like, it's afternoon. And it's hot, and, like... It's still burned. I mean, we're hiking through this burn forever. Yeah. For 3 or 4 days. Yeah. And I just saw this dude on a horse riding up the trail. Like, I mean, it's a switchback, so I'm looking down. There's a dude on a horse riding up the trail. I'm like, oh, sweet. Maybe he has water or a Gatorade. Yeah. And I get down, there's no dude on a horse. No horse tracks anywhere. I'm like, I got to get to this road. Like, it's time to sleep. Yeah. That's cool. Dang, dude, that's crazy. Yeah. Well, we'll see how that death hike goes. We'll probably maybe film it. I'm not sure. If not, we'll definitely do some podcasts. You can film something on your phone.
Yeah. That's
it doesn't have to be like a
GoPro.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not gonna do like crazy films, but
we gotta film it. Just with minimum with your iPhone, because you got to do like a recap, like hey, we're at mile whatever, and
true. Yeah, we'll do some podcasts about it. Yeah, for sure.
That'll be fun.
So, that'll be good. But well, thanks for being on here, Riley.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you. I like talking. I just don't like being in charge.
Yeah, that's all right.
See, I can come on podcasts. I just don't want to do it myself.
I don't blame you. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah. But, okay, well, thanks everyone for watching or listening if you're on Spotify. Like this video, subscribe, follow the channel, the Creative Hunter Podcast. We got some more episodes coming up the next few weeks for you, so stay tuned.
Get your Alpen
fuel. Get your Alpen fuel. Use the code. The code TCH20 at Alpen Fuel. You get 20% off.
I'm gonna use that.
Riley's gonna get him some.
Okay, we gotta stop this podcast so we can play some cribbage.
Yeah, we're gonna play a game of cribbage before bed. So, Riley's apparently the cribbage king.
Cribbage is the best card game.
We'll see. Yeah, it's fun. Okay, guys. Well, we'll catch you guys next time. Have a good one.